And here we are now, faced with another presidential election year. Many have said that I have continued to engage divisiveness, that I have continued to spur, if you will, antagonisms towards our federal government, that it is said that I have taken up the pen to inscribe resolutions of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. The question has never been asked of me personally. I will admit that John Taylor of Caroline has put forth imputations that I might have done so, but as is my custom with imputations, I never provide a statement. I may say this, however, that Mr. Madison and myself have colluded to suggest resolutions of the Commonwealth of Virginia and Kentucky. We are concerned, as I hope you all are, of recent acts of our federal government put forth within the last 2 years of 98 and 99, 4 acts in particular, known collectively as the Alien and Sedition laws, to deny the inherent right of the citizenry of our nation to express their opinion freely. In our opinion, and in the opinion of so many, this is an effort to deny the substance and the foundation not only of our Constitution, but of our Bill of Rights protected by our Constitution. The 4 acts in themselves are, firstly, a naturalization act to move beyond 5 years in order to become a citizen of our nation, 14 years to be recognized. Secondly, Alien Friends Act, an act which purports that any citizen observed to be antagonistic of our nation who is initially of a foreign realm, having taken seat here simply because in recognition of their antagonisms, must be deported. Thirdly, the Alien Enemies Act, which states any citizen of our nation formerly of a foreign power, that foreign power now in warfare with our United States, will be deported simply because they were a subject of that foreign nation to begin before they sought an asylum here. And yet, most importantly, the 4th of these acts, Sedition Act, stating simply that any American citizen offering freely their opinion in opposition to the opinion of our federal government must be arrested, fined $250, and incarcerated for a period of 18 months. Particularly news writers and the influence they may have in the press.
We wouldn't have any newspapers.
Citizens, I emphasize that these are acts of our federal government. They are not laws because they have attending to them a date of expiration. Do you realize that the date of expiration for all 4 of these acts is the 3rd day of March, 1801, 24 hours preceding the next presidential inauguration, thereby securing the political opinion of that party now holding office for the ensuing months of this year and the next, until the next president is elected. Whom do you think the Federalists have in mind then for that inauguration? This is the subject which must now try our souls, and this is the subject that has brought the pen of Mr. Madison and myself together in proffering resolutions to provide a recognition unto our citizen body that these acts are indeed constitutional, unconstitutional, and to the extent that they might even suggest that a state or commonwealth of our union does have an obligation perhaps to nullify an act of the federal government offensive to its particular jurisprudence and its own legislative power. I wish you to know that several drafts have been made of a resolution proposed for Kentucky. That yes, the word nullified has been engaged in that particular draft. However, I wish you to know of late a more formal draft has been written, submitted to the legislature of Kentucky, and awaits their approbation. This draft more distinctly recognizes the necessity for the maintenance of our Constitution and its powers. For this draft more succinctly recognizes the necessity of maintaining our Union. To remind ourselves of the great compact that we engaged so many years ago. To remind ourselves, if you will, of the last sentence of our Declaration of American Independence. That we, therefore, in support of this declaration, with a firm protection on divine providence, mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. That is a compact not easily to be broken. That is a compact which requires our mutual effort to maintain, protect, and secure, as it will in itself continue to maintain, protect, and secure the rights of every individual in our nation. The more so in time. For as a child of 14 cannot wear the same clothes at the age of 40, our laws and institutions must grow as we grow as a people. And therefore, to remind ourselves, it is we, the people, that hold the reins of our government. As I remind myself, though very much in favor of maintaining the integrity of the Articles of Confederation, a venerable fabric I thought should not be tampered with, the most luminous mind I've ever known, the mighty little Madison, influenced me to recognize the necessity of a stronger system of government. That when I read that first draft of our Constitution, I wrote to him immediately, I am captivated by it. The small, shortest document of its kind in human history, creating a government to check its own powers, the greater influence of the three branches of government found in the legislative branch, that branch elected directly by the citizens themselves and empowered thereby in that representation of the majority, to never forget their duty in protecting the minority influence. And most importantly, the preamble of our Constitution, which pronounces boldly, we the people, to protect our citizenry not only in Virginia, but in Massachusetts Bay, in Pennsylvania, Maryland, the Carolinas, Georgia, and westwards as we continue our expansion. Therefore, citizens, in protection, if you will, of our Constitution and our Union, I recite to you but a few paragraphs of the resolutions of Kentucky in itself, that you might be reminded of the extraordinary history that we live at present, in order that you might pass it on to generations yet unborn, so that they may not forget. To wit, we are respecting certain unconstitutional laws of Congress, commonly called the Alien and Sedition laws, as faithless indeed to themselves and to those that they represent, that we should not thereby sit idly by, for their of silence would be to neglect the principle. That resolved, this Commonwealth of Kentucky considers the Federal Union upon the terms and for the purposes specified in the late compact as conducive to the liberty and happiness of the several states, that it does now unequivocally declare its attachment to the Union, and to that compact agreeable to its obvious and real intentions, and will be among the last to seek its dissolution. That although this Commonwealth of Kentucky, as a party to the federal compact, will bow to the laws of the Union, yet it does at the same time declare that it will not now nor ever hereafter cease to oppose in a constitutional manner every attempt from what quarter soever often to violate that compact. Finally, in order that no pretext or arguments may be drawn from a supposed acquiescence on the part of this Commonwealth in the constitutionality of those laws, and be thereby used as precedents for similar future violations of federal compact, this Commonwealth does now enter against them its solemn protest. I do not take changes and alterations in governments long standing very lightly, for they have been engaged by those of every right to form governments protected and securing of their inherent rights and privileges. And therefore I emphasize that this is a solemn protest, lest we forget. I remain your humble and obedient servant, Thomas Jefferson. I now thank you and welcome back to the dais.